Welcome to Mr. Math Academy. Grow your math brain.
Friends, welcome back to Mr. Math Academy. So in this video we just discuss about the strength of the materials. So this is basically comes to the further department of mechanical and the civil as a basic subject. So in this topic we just go for some of the brief topics here, like introduction part, stress strain, and some of the Hooke's law, and as well as the properties of the material. So what we are seeing in general part is in our daily life. So actually the engineering mechanics deals with that is the deformation of the rigid bodies when the external load is applied. So when we apply some load for any object, it is subjected to some sort of the stresses. So actually, because lot of forces will be acting in every object. For example, if we take in our body itself, if I take some student, he is having lot of stresses during the examination purpose, during the examination situation. For example, if suppose a student is having a 6 subject, so something it will be normal to him. Instead of that, if he is having some 10 subjects or 12 subjects, so during the examination, so he is having a more stress. So means what, the number of subjects what he is having, it's something like external force which acts on the a particular student. So in that way, so because of the stresses, because the stress is nothing but somewhat it is something like that is the indifferences which is created inside the body that we cannot see. But actually this is because of the external load applied from the external way. Okay. Similarly, so because of this stress, this stress will be created means the stresses create because of the external force. Any body you take, even if I take, see here, this is one simple material here. If you just apply load on either side, okay, because the forces are nothing but there are different types of forces are there, like tensile force is there, compressive force is there, okay, like a tangential force, lot of forces are there. So in that case, when the material is subjected to a tensile force or compressive force, so to some extent the resistance will be created inside the body here. So when the resistance created inside the body of this particular member, so it creates a resistance for the deformation. So up to its particular some limit will be there. After that, so even if you apply the load, the material tends to break. So in this case, so what we are dealing here is the stress is nothing but it's a internal resistance force which is created due to the external applied load. Okay. So I repeat here, so stress is nothing but, so it's a internal resistive force created per unit area due to the external applied load. I just give an simple example here. If suppose a person hits or a person slaps on a other person on his face, so you can just see the two things on that particular person. One thing is, so you can just see on his face there will be a lot of changes you can see, like bulging of the face or removal of the teeth, etc. Okay, there is one more change that you can see on his particular person, that he is having somewhat like angriness within that particular person. So you just see these two differences here because of that applied load on that particular face. So one thing is you can just see the changes in the dimensions on that particular face. That is nothing but actually the strain here. Okay, the stress is nothing but, so within that particular person you can just see the angriness. So that angriness indicates it's a stress value, but we cannot see that stress directly, but we can see to some extent we can see the strain value. Okay, strain we can see. So strain is nothing but it's a change in the dimensions. So but the stress is nothing but it's a internal resistive forces per unit area, okay, per unit area, which create due to the external applied load. Okay, so this is nothing but a stress. So in general I can write, so because I can take this stress as some ratio of P by A. Okay, so this is somewhat the ratio we can take, that is a P by A. So where P indicates the applied load, that is because of the applied load, this P is nothing but the resistive force. Okay, you can take this is the resistive force actually. So this resistive force is almost equal to the applied load, okay, within some elastic limit. Now this is the A is nothing but the area of a cross section. This is the just what I have given the example, okay, for understanding purpose. You can take any engineering materials, okay, engineering materials that is applicable here, okay. Now this will be the stress here. Now we'll go for the strain here. So strain is nothing but it's a change in length by original length. So for example, if I take this is an object here, okay, this is an object. If you apply load on this direction, that is a p value, okay, external applied load, I am having it, the dimensions will be there here. So if this is the length of the material, so because of this applied load, that is a tensile load, so what I am shown the direction which is opposite, it's nothing but a tensile load. If you apply the tensile load, you can just see, if suppose this is a something like, if I take the circular object, this will be having some diameter small d. So the later case, because of this tensile load, there will be an increase in the dimensions. To some extent, you can just see this is a increase in the dimension. So that increase in the dimensions is nothing but a change in length, that is a delta L value along the direction of the applied load. But in the opposite direction, the diameter goes on decreases here. So this will be the decrease in the diameter, okay. So means what? So whenever the load is applied, either it may be a tensile load or either it may be a compressive load, there will be a dimensions will be dimensions will be changes. So that gives the information regarding the strain value. Now the strain is nothing but change in length by original length. Now I'll come back to the same example here. So what I've given the previous one. So initially the particular face is nothing but, you just assume this is a like some exact shape is there, okay, that particular face of a person. But when you hit that particular person, there will be a change in the dimensions like bulging or etc. Okay, so that is the delta L value from the original shape. So original shape to the small changes will be there. That is a delta L value. So this is the L value. Now these two are the main important concept what we have to remember here. Like whenever study the study of strength of materials, one is the stress and second one is the strain. I repeat here, stress is nothing but, so it is the internal resistive force per unit area, so which is created due to the external applied load. Okay, now strain is nothing but when we apply the load, either it may be a tensile load or compressive load, so there will be a changes in the dimension takes place within the material. So that's given by the ratio of change in length to original length. That will be the strain value. Now what is the Hooke's law here? So all these things are applicable only within the elastic limit. So within the elastic limit means you can just take one more example like spring system or any elastic rubber. So you can just see, so this is an elastic one. If you apply load, tensile load, elongation takes place. If you just remove the load, it comes back to the same shape and size. Okay, so means what? It is having some elasticity. Okay, so now within this elastic range, so material regain its original shape and size. So in that case, we should study the stress and strain. This is applicable within the elastic limit. Now what is meant by Hooke's law? It is continuation of the stress and strain, Hooke's law. So which is given by the scientist called Hooke's here. So because when we draw like some stress strain diagram, so generally this stress can be represented by sigma and this strain can be represented by epsilon. Okay, so I'll just take here sigma and epsilon here, that is a stress versus strain here. Because when we apply the load for any material, so what happens, the stress inside the object will be increases, at the same time there will be changes in the dimensions along for particular length will be there. So means what, strain is also will be there. So when we draw a graph between the values which we have got from this particular load what we have applied on that particular material, there will be a stress and strain. So we can get some particular graph here for different material. So this is actually the for a ductile material, what we have written here is, this is the graph for a ductile material. Okay, so there are several graphs will be there. For aluminum it is different, for copper if it is different. So generally what I have taken here, it is for a ductile material. Okay, in this case you just see here up to here you can just see some linearity between the stress versus strain. You can just see some sort of a linearity is there. So that indicates it's a elastic region. So means what, when we apply load the stress increases strain will also be increases. Means what, these two are in a linear way. Okay, that's why up to here there will be a linearity. You can just see that is nothing, that indicates it's a elastic range of a particular material. Okay, now we have to study here. So that will be the elastic range, that is a maximum range. After that, even if you apply load, there will be some changes will also be there. Okay, now Hooke's law means, so within this elastic limit, if the stress is proportional to strain, so what happens, so I'll just draw here. So actually, so Hooke's law means, which is given by stress is directly proportional to strain. Hooke's law given by the stress is directly proportional to strain within the elastic limit. Okay, now I'll take this sigma is equal to epsilon here. So this indicates it's a Hooke's law. Now if I just remove the constant here, okay, like that is a constant here, it if I remove this proportionality constant, it becomes E into epsilon here. Okay, finally I can take sigma by epsilon. Okay, now here what we have taken here is, why we have taken this E, because when we remove this proportionality constant, I have taken this is a capital E here. Now after that, we just cross multiply epsilon to here, I am getting a capital E is equal to sigma by epsilon. Now where this E indicates it's a Young's modulus. So this Young's modulus, which indicates the stiffness of the material, that is the stiffness of the any material. Stiffness means what? Actually the stiffness means when you apply load, deformation takes place. Either it may be tensile or compressive. Okay, tensile or compressive, when you apply load, deformation takes place. The deformation means either it may be elongation or compression. So this E indicates what is the amount of elongation takes place, what is the amount of contraction takes place. That indicates the stiffness of the material. Now this E indicates, that E indicates means actually it's a Young's modulus. It's a Young's modulus, or it is also called as an elastic constant. So which indicates it is a resistance, it indicates the stiffness of a material. I hope you have got this basic introduction part. Next we'll go for the properties of the material.